man, we was just kids chopping bikes, man. We had our own little chop shop in the neighborhood. We had a whole garage full of bikes, and man, we painted them all the same color, man. The rims, the pedals. I mean, I remember we just breaking bikes down, having fun. And I remember my one buddy of mine, he had a old lawnmower. We started messing with that motor, put it in a mini bike frame, and we never could figure out how to get it hooked up with a belt or anything. So we just pushed each other around, around the neighborhood while we had full throttle. But man, it got my attention, man. I love to ride, and seeing all these bikes riding through the neighborhood, and man, all us kids man, they were our rock stars, man. We looking up to them. So I got into dirt bikes, and that's how I really started riding. Was into dirt bikes, doing Evel Knievel stuff. Getting busted up, stitches, and learning. But that's where I really started riding, man. And I'd ride. I'd ride down the railroad tracks. We'd go out here and we was in the hood, so we had to go somewhere. Police chase. We hit to the railroad tracks, and we go down with this place called the Honda Hills. And anyway, like I said, the police would chase us. And one time, I didn't think they seen me, so I jumped off my bike, acting like I'm pushing it. And he pulls up. Hey, how you doing? He gets out of his car. Well, he seen me riding. He snatched my bike up, took it from me. I was like, man, come on. So anyway, then it was time to get a street bike. Somebody that gave me one to just wrench on, and so it was an old Honda. We just got it running, and just kind of taking turns riding it around. So, but you're getting vision. I mean, once you're on the road, now it's like you want bigger, better. Man. I mean, and even thinking about a Harley. That's how kind of. We all just started riding together, and that's kind of where that came from, But man, wouldn't have any other way. I got a '98 Heritage Softail, which I had that bike 19 years. I'm still riding that. I got a 2020 Road Glide Special. I just got that last year, and that thing's. I mean, the torque on those newer bikes, man, is I love it. The other one, the Softail, I think I broke down in Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Florida. But I wrench on that. That's my mule, man. You're out. You got the apes here, man. So you got no windshield, no cruise. And man, you take a ride to Florida, and man, by the time you get there, you rode. It's about 170,000. Yeah, and then so I get this Road Glide. I mean, that's like, I took that to Florida. Cruise, tunes, windshield, all sweet, But that kind of stuff, I love. Honestly, I take that old Softail. I'll ride that just for the challenge. Right. You can't ride that, I ain't gonna make it to Florida again. That just motivated me. It's in the garage now, I'm wrenching on it now, matter of fact. But when that bike breaks down, you got you go to swap meets, you get parts online. I mean, they made so many of those Evo motors, and you can get parts. So, well, okay, see, I had family members that were, godly people, you know what I mean? And so I was always rebellious, running around and getting in trouble and stuff. So they always were praying for me and kind of preaching to me and stuff. But my grandmother, man, she was the real deal, and my mom was too. My dad, they were all, But I'll tell you what, my grandmother, when she was dying on her deathbed, I was a teenager, and we was in the hospital, and so she called me up. Where's Randy at? And so I got a whole room full of family, and they're pushing me up to her, and she's on her death, she's dying, and her request was, that I give my life to the Lord. And first thing she asked me was, you still going out with that girl, Christy? I said, no, ma'am. She said, thank God, right? And I mean, here she is, and she goes, You need to give your life to the Lord. And I mean, man, I felt it when she said that, but I didn't want to do it just to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to just do it. Everybody in my family was mad at me because I didn't do it. I wouldn't, you know, I rejected it, right? And so that was her one request, and so everybody's mad at me. I didn't do it. I thought, man, I can't do this if it ain't real. And that's really what my attitude was. And she passed, you know. And so, you know, I had to learn some stuff the hard way. And, you know, I was out here running, getting in trouble, man. And, man, the drugs, everything else, I learned the hard way. You know, I remember a guy had a gun in my face. And, you know, I could see it in his eyes. This brother's going to pull the trigger. Had me in a car, you know, and somebody pulls up on the street honking the horn. So he's got it. You know, he's got this on me, and then they're coming. He turns the gun to them. Well, I take off. I took off, and he shot that guy. And man, all I kept thinking was, you know, man, my grandmother was right, man. My mom was, you know. You start thinking I gotta go to church, man. Then I go to jail. Man, I got to go to church, man. I'd overdose on drugs, man. And it was kind of like that. It was happening a little more often, you know. And, you know, I was out here, the crack cocaine's what really had me deep. And I was down in the projects on the corner selling pieces of soap, ripping people off. And I'm standing there, and it's just a matter of time, man. Somebody's going, you know what I mean? It don't take long to know you've been ripped off. I'm out here just, and that's kind of how I was just getting. I was getting stupid, man. And anyway, you know, I had all that, like almost like I knew better, kind of thing. And this is really where I'm coming from. I believed, like in the Lord, all that. No problem. I believed that as a kid. I just didn't want to live. I don't want to change my ways. You know, I'm not an atheist. I just don't. I didn't want to live for the Lord, nothing like that. So that was kind of what it was. I'm just I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear about it. And I could tell you so many horror stories of just, okay, you know. And so what it came down to is my dad, you know, me and him we had a kind of a rocky relationship there at the end, you know. And, you know, I look back on it now, he was going through some stuff. And, man, he saved my life. He really did. But at this time I was going in my life, man, I needed, it was time for a change, you know. And so he called me and wanted me to take me to this conference. It was a Christian conference. And I wasn't interested. I didn't want to go, but, man, I just ripped off a couple of guys here. I was looking over my shoulder, man. I ripped off some couple dope boys, and the word was out, and it was getting pretty bad, you know. And I'm looking over my shoulder everywhere I go. So I said I'd go just to get out of town, man, because you know. And so it was in Indianapolis, Indiana. So we went. He had 10 other guys with him. He lives in Cincinnati. So I drove to Cincinnati. Then we went over there to Indianapolis. And you had 65,000 men in this stadium. And, man, they're like praising the Lord. They're singing, worshiping, you know what I mean? And man, I just came from a totally different environment, man. It's culture shock, really. Because it was like, whoa, you know? And the conference was Friday night and Saturday. So Friday, I'm basically saying, I ain't doing this. I don't want to hang around these guys. I don't want to be... You know, I just need to get out of Akron. Well, then come Saturday, I was exhausted from just resisting it. Somebody's going to tell me something about the Lord. I want to see, do they really believe what they're saying? Because everybody's out here preaching whatever. And I want to see, do you really believe what you're telling me? You know, no strings attached. That's what I needed. You know, and I wasn't looking for it, but that's what I wasn't looking for it, but I was. So anyway, this guy, finally, man, this guy's bringing the word, man, and he's talking about drugs, he's talking about football, like everything in my life, you know, I felt like he's talking to me. And I'm like, man, this brother here is, man, he's fine. My heart was pounding. and it was real. And that's what I needed. I need something real and personal, man. Man, it rocked me, man. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what, man, I'm gonna die. I really believe with all my heart, the Lord was speaking to me, last call. And I believe that to this day, I believe that it was for me. Had I not, at that time, if I'd have waited or pushed it away one more time, I believe it would have been it. That was how. And so anyway, they give an invitation, come forward and, surrender your life over. And I stood up, I got caught up, man. I just stood up, and I was embarrassed, man. I'm with these guys. I already know they're praying for me, talking about me. But it was like, whew, and I don't even know how to act, man. And so I tried to play it off, and I went to the restroom. All these people going forward, getting their lives changed. Here I'm running to the restroom, and I couldn't shake it. I just went in there, and man, I was like, wow, that was real, man. You know what I mean, man. I'm thinking of all this crazy stuff going on in my life, and I basically just prayed right. I was in the stall, and I was just pretty much like, man, God, I need a miracle. I don't know how to pray. I don't know how to, man, I need a miracle. I'm going to die, man. I've really felt that. And I was serious. Didn't know nothing then. Don't know too much now. But that's where my life changed. You know what I mean? And I came out of there, and I was just like, man, I felt, all of a sudden I wasn't worried about who's looking for me. I wasn't worried about nothing. I had a peace, And so that was in June 24th, 1995. And man, that's what I'm saying. It was real. I went back to the guys, and they're all in like a circle praying. Everybody's in groups praying. And then, for the first time, I wanted to pray. I just jumped in. And so that's kind of what was the beginning for me, And it was like, I didn't even really want to go to it. But had I not,